When we teach people how to squat in our gym, the first thing we want to do is have them learn how to establish the more horizontal back angle which is desired for the low bar squat. The reason for this is because we want them to learn how to use the muscles of the posterior chain, namely the low back, the hamstrings, the glutes, and the adductors. Now for some people this can be an uphill battle because of the mental picture they have in their head, but usually the first day we can get them to do this right. Now the back angle we're looking for is a product of two things. One, pushing the hips back, and two, shoving the knees out and forward in line with the toes. When this happens simultaneously, our desired back angle is established very early on in the squat. Now this tends to be fairly straightforward at light weights, but when things get heavy, people have a tendency to start doing things with their upper body to either establish or to avoid getting in the correct position, and we want to learn how to take care of this now by thinking of the squat in a bit of a different way. Some people have the habit of trying to bend over by rolling their chest forward. Others try to bend over by reaching their hips way, way, way back and keeping their knees back and stopping them from going forward, which is a whole different problem. And thirdly, some people are afraid to bend over when it gets heavy, and they'll start to roll the bar down and keep an open chest and more vertical back angle on the descent. What I found with coaching this is that teaching people to think about freezing their torso and not moving anything from the waist up tends to work pretty well to alleviate this problem. I'm going to show you what this looks like. So as I mentioned before, the horizontal back angle we want is going to be established by reaching the hips back and shoving the knees out and forward at the same time. And what this would look like would be there. Now I'm into my hips as I'd like to be at the bottom, and I'm going to maintain this angle as I come up. What people tend to do is misinterpret this as folding over at the top to try to bend over, or reach their hips back so far that the knees stay back in an attempt to bend over, and they end up in a situation where the knees slide at the bottom. Thirdly, when it gets heavy, people start to change their grip. Because they're afraid to bend over, they'll start rolling the bar down and keeping their chest real open, their eyes up and a little bit more vertical, and this leads to huge problems right away. Now the way we want to think about this is to think about freezing the torso. So when I have the barbell on my back and I'm in position here, this from my waist to my shoulders, nothing changes. The way it is at the top is the way it looks at the bottom. The only thing that changes is hips and knees. When they move, my torso goes as well, but at no point am I letting any of this roll back or forward or change. I'm thinking about keeping this thing frozen. Ass back, knees out, torso does not move. It's locked. So when I'm at the bottom and we take a screenshot of this, it should look the exact same as I do at the top. So when I unrack this thing and I'm ready to squat, I want to make sure that my torso never moves. What I'm not trying to do is roll my chest forward on the way down. I'm not trying to roll my wrist back because I'm afraid to bend over, nor am I reaching the hips back independently of the knees. My back angle now is established because I'm freezing everything from the waist up. I'm reaching my hips back, pushing my knees out. Everything on the top is locked in place, and I should look at the bottom the same as I did at the top. The only thing that changes is the movement of my hips and my knees. In a perfect world, we'd like the angle of our forearms to stay in line with our torso. So if you notice when I started, my elbows were fairly aligned up with my torso. And as I bend over, it stays in place. If you see that the angle of the forearm changes, it becomes more horizontal or more vertical, you know we're moving around upstairs when we're not supposed to be. Keep it pinched tight, everything is frozen from the top. Remember to freeze your torso, everything from the waist up, to clean up your squat. If you'd like to learn how the barbell can transform your body and literally change your life, there's no better place to be than right here with us at Brussels Barbell. Strength matters. Find yours with us.